Hi everyone, we're on chapter 8 of Elmer and the Dragon. It was dusk and they were digging up the treasure. But the moon went behind the clouds and they waited and waited and waited and they had no light and so they fell asleep. And so now we're on chapter 8 called Treasure. Flute woke up and trilled so loudly he startled the queen and king. And the dragon, and they woke up. The other canaries had been up for an hour and were crowding around to see what was happening under the tree. Everybody peered into the big hole and gasped, "Oh, it's a real treasure chest with the ring on the top. But how will we ever get it out of that hole?" The king looked at Elmer, and Elmer looked at the dragon. "Dragon, do you think you could put your tail through the ring and pull up the chest for us?" "I'll try," said the dragon, puffing up with importance. As all the canaries swarmed around him, and he moved aside. He moved them aside. He backed up to the hole, stuck his tail down through the ring, and pulled, but nothing happened. "Couldn't you pull a little harder?" suggested the king. "That's exactly what I was going to try. Just let me catch my breath," said the dragon, somewhat crossly. "After all, I'm not used to lifting heavy things with my tail." He took a deep, deep breath and pulled very, very hard. And suddenly, the chest moved. He grunted and he strained and he struggled and he panted and he slowly, slowly hoisted the chest out of the hole. Far enough, yelled Elmer. "Now walk forward." "Walk forward and set it down." Crash! The chest fell down on the pine needles and the dragon staggered off to sit down while the canaries shouted, "Bravo! Bravo! Bravo!" "Quiet! Quiet!" yelled King Can the 11th. "I am now about to tell you the last part of the secret. The key to the chest. The key to the chest. Well, anyway, this is the last part of the secret. My illustrious ancestors, King Can number 1, stole the key from the settlers, and the key to the chest is in my nest. Go get it, Flute." "No, never mind. I'm going to go get it myself," said the king. The king flew up to the nest and down again with a big brass key in his beak. Elmer pried out the dirt in the keyhole on the chest with his jackknife and put in the key. Click! The lock turned. Elmer threw back the lid and picked up a note that was lying on top of a piece of heavy canvas. "Can you read what it says?" asked the king. "Yes," said Elmer, feeling kind of sick with excitement as he read this note out loud. "This chest was left by Oliver Hinkle for the purpose of helping him and his friends to settle on this island when he returns. In the event that he does not return to find this chest, the chest becomes the property of whoever discovers it. The following is a list of the things inside that are buried here. 12 pewter plates, which is kind of like silver. 6 pewter cups. 12 settings of sterling silver. Place settings like forks, knives, spoons, I think. 1 iron skillet. 2 pots with lids. All this stuff they need to start if they were settlers, if they were the only person, there's no stores, they were the only person on this island, this is all stuff they would need to start their life. Just like if you remember the Pilgrims, they needed stuff to start their life on anew. So there was a coffee grinder. Rubbish, 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 interrupted the king. Isn't there anything but cooking things and utensils? Let me finish, said Elmer. So he continued. There's the coffee grinder, salt and sugar, an axe, a tinderbox, which is like matches, 5 bags of seed, including squash, corn, cabbage, wheat, and flour, just mullet, just like you would need if you were the Pilgrims. You would need those things to start planting your fields so you had food to eat. But there was a gold watch on a chain belonging to my wife, Sarah, and a sterling silver harmonica, and 6 bags of gold. Wow. Gold. I knew it. Just think of it. Queen, we have 6 bags of gold, trilled the king. What will you do with them, king dear? Said the queen. I won't do anything with them. I just have them. I have them to be rich. Shall I unpack them? Said Elmer, who was anxious to see, especially the silver harmonica, sterling silver harmonica. By all means, ordered King Can the 11th, strutting back and forth in front of the twittering canaries. Elmer unpacked everything, and at last he came to the sterling silver harmonica. He blew on it gently, and the sound was so sweet that all the canaries stopped chattering and listened. The king listened too, with tears in his eyes. When Elmer had finished playing, The Bear Went Over the Mountain, which is a song he must have known, the king flew up to the branch of the pine and solemnly said, Elmer, on behalf of the queen and myself and all the other Feather Islanders, I want to thank you and your dragon friend for digging up this treasure and thereby ridding us of the plague of curiosity. I now present you with this silver harmonica, which you play so beautifully, and 3 of the 6 bags of gold are yours. And to the brave dragon, I present this gold watch and chain, and Elmer fastened it around his neck. This is them at the beginning when he was playing, he got the stuff out. There's the king and the queen. And then this picture is of them putting the gold watch around the dragon's neck. Elmer hooked the chain around the dragon's neck, arranging the watch right here by his throat. What's that? Asked Elmer. I can't see it. Sorry, not what's that. How's that? Said Elmer to the dragon. Well, I can't see it, but it feels fine, said the proud baby dragon. The birds all clapped their wings, and then the dragon, who really didn't care much for speeches, remarked, Looking at those pots and plates makes me kind of hungry. Let's celebrate. Let's eat something. Goodness, said the queen. I don't believe we've ever had a celebration before. What shall we eat? Tangerines, said Elmer. I bet you've never tasted one. Elmer peeled 12 of the 31 tangerines he had left in his knapsack and put one on each of the 12 pewter plates. Then he hurried off to pick a good mess of skunk cabbages and ostrich ferns for the dragon. When he came back, everyone crowded around to the feast. Elmer sat beside the dragon and ate 9 tangerines all by himself. Then he played turkey in the straw, just another song, on his sterling silver harmonica. While the king did a jig on the plate, so he did a dance. Soon everybody joined in the dancing, and they danced themselves to sleep, all over the pine needles under the great tall tree. And there's a picture of them all. I think you can see them all dancing. They all had a tangerine. And Elmer, the dragon, was eating the skunk cabbage. And our next chapter is number 9, and it's called Farewell. So I'll see you at chapter 9, Elmer and the Dragon.